Imagine for a moment that everything you were taught about the past was wrong. Not just a little wrong, but deliberately, aggressively wrong. Imagine being told that your ancestors were simple, that they built nothing of note, that they were just passive bystanders in history. Now imagine standing here, in the heart of southern Africa, surrounded by walls of stone so massive, so precisely cut, that they have stood for nearly 1,000 years. This is Great Zimbabwe, and its story is not just one of an ancient civilization. It is the story of a lie. A lie so big that for decades, Europeans refused to believe the truth that was staring them right in the face. We are in the 11th century. While London is still a muddy town recovering from the Vikings, and long before the Aztecs built their great capital, Tenochtitlan, a city is rising in southern Africa. This is the capital of the Kingdom of Zimbabwe, built by the ancestors of the Shona people. But look closely at these walls. They aren't held together by mud or mortar. It's a technique called dry stone masonry. The builders would take granite blocks, shape them meticulously, and layer them with such precision that they lock together perfectly, standing firm for centuries. They call it Zimbabwe, great houses of stone, and it is an engineering marvel. Over 300 structures spread across nearly 1,800 acres. At its peak, more than 10,000 people live here, maybe as many as 18,000. That makes it one of the largest cities in the entire sub-Saharan continent. Some walls are over 30 feet high. The Great Enclosure, the largest ancient structure in sub-Saharan Africa, is a masterpiece of design. And right in the middle, a mysterious 30-foot-tall conical tower. What was it for? A symbol of a king's power? A symbolic granary to represent his duty to feed his people? We don't know for sure. What we do know is that this city was the heart of a vast trading empire. This kingdom sat on a gold mine, literally. They controlled the gold fields, as well as huge herds of cattle and the trade in ivory. From their stone city, they traded with the world. They sent gold and ivory down the rivers to the Swahili coast, to ports like Sofala and the great city-state of Kilwa. And from there, their goods traveled across the Indian Ocean. In return, ships brought back luxuries. Archaeologists have dug up glass beads from India, pottery from Persia, and even porcelain from China's Ming Dynasty. This was a sophisticated, wealthy, and powerful African kingdom. It was a hub of global commerce. And for 300 years it thrived. Until, for reasons that are still debated, maybe a shift in trade routes, maybe resources running thin, the city was slowly abandoned in the 15th century. The ruins stood silent, the forests reclaimed the land, and the memory of who built them began to fade into legend, known only to the local Shona people who held the site sacred. Until one day the Europeans arrived. It's 1871. A German geologist and explorer named Karl Mauck is wandering through southern Africa looking for gold. He stumbles upon these massive ruins, and he simply cannot compute what he is seeing. He looks at the towering walls, the perfect stonework, and his mind refuses to accept the obvious. Why? Because in his world, in the era of colonial conquest, it was an established fact that Black Africans were inferior. They were primitive. They couldn't possibly have built this. So, Mauck does what a lot of colonial explorers did. He makes up a better story. He sees a wooden beam in one of the ruins, and with no evidence, declares it must be cedar from Lebanon. And because it's cedar from Lebanon, he links it to the Bible. He declares that he has found the lost biblical city of Ophir, the source of King Solomon's gold. He claims it was built by the Queen of Sheba's people, or by Phoenicians, anyone but the Africans living right there. This wasn't just ignorance, it was a convenient lie. Because if a lost white tribe built this, it meant the land had a white history. It gave Cecil Rhodes and the British colonialists a pseudo-legal claim to the territory they were busy renaming Rhodesia. But you can only bury the truth for so long. In 1929, a brilliant archaeologist named Gertrude Caton Thompson arrives. She's a pioneer, one of the first women to lead a major archaeological dig, and she is furious at the sloppy, racist work done before her. She uses a new method, stratigraphy. She carefully digs layer by layer, cataloging every shard, every bead. And what she finds is conclusive. She proves, without a doubt, that the site is medieval. It's too young to be the Queen of Sheba. She finds that the earliest layers, at the very bottom, contain the same type of pottery and artifacts that are still made by the Shona people living in the area. She declares that Great Zimbabwe was built by an indigenous African civilization of originality and amazing industry. You'd think that would be the end of it. It wasn't. Even her evidence was twisted. She noted the circular nature of the ruins, which matched the circular designs of local villages. But to make her point palatable to her white colleagues, she added a dose of her own prejudice, suggesting that more advanced civilizations would have built with straight lines and right angles. The truth was there, but the lens was still cracked. As late as the 1970s, the white minority government of Ian Smith in Rhodesia is still pushing the lie. School textbooks teach that it was built by foreigners. Tourist guides tell visitors it was Phoenicians or Arabs. Why? Because the story of Great Zimbabwe is political dynamite. If a black African civilization could build something this magnificent, it means they have a glorious past. And if they have a glorious past, they have a claim to the land and the right to rule themselves. The lies persist until the very end. But in 1980, the country wins its independence. The first thing the new nation does? It throws off its colonial name. They don't call it Rhodesia anymore. They name their new country Zimbabwe. They named their country after this city. Those soapstone birds that Theodore Bent claimed were Phoenician, they are now on the flag. They are the ultimate symbol of the nation's soul. Great Zimbabwe is no longer a mystery to be solved by outsiders. It is a legacy reclaimed. It stands as a monument not just to the engineering genius of the Shona ancestors, but to the resilience of truth itself. For centuries, the walls stood silent, waiting. They watched empires rise and fall. They watched colonizers come and go. And they proved that no matter how loud the lies, the stones don't lie. The story of Great Zimbabwe is a reminder that history is not just about the past. It is about power. It is about who gets to tell the story. And sometimes the greatest archaeological discovery is not a golden mask or a lost city, but the courage to look at a wall of stone and finally admit the obvious. It was built by Africans. It was always built by Africans.